Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, September. Dear God, it's September. September the 19th, 2024. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. We are back after a long wedding hiatus. You would think that the wedding went on for a month, with how long we've been away, but that was more like wedding and then in-laws and then everything that came before and after. But we're here, we're back, and we're ready to talk about some bullshit. Hope everyone's been doing well. I got a great show lined up for you today because, obviously, well, not because of the time that we were gone. In all honesty, not a shitload happened while we were gone because, again, it's the summer. And sometimes, summer giveth and summer taketh away when it comes to video game-related news. But we did, in fact, have some stuff crop up here in the last 2 weeks, and so we do have some decent stuff to talk about. And we'll get to that today, but before we do that, of course, the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how was your month?
I mean, it was a month.
It was.
I think pretty much the last, I think right before your wedding, I've just been streaming nonstop, pretty much 10 hours plus a day, every day. I haven't really done.
You're on that degenerate grind right now, bro.
I'm back. I enjoyed my spring and part of my summer, and now I just back into full grind mode. So I don't really have anything exciting.
Do you find that in the fall, right before winter, that you get almost manic with productivity, like almost like in the back of your mind, winter is coming, and for some reason it makes you feel like you need to get more done? Because I kind of get like that, even though we don't obviously, what the fuck is outside? But in general, we don't have to go out of the house as often as other people do. But it's still, for me and for a long time, 2 times of the year. Spring is the common one. People get winter's over here. Everyone's like, oh, thank God. Oh! And then they just go and do a bajillion things. People drive faster. It's weird. There's more accidents for the first 2 weeks because people are just so ecstatic that there's no snow that they're just doing stupid shit. It's not quite as strong, but in the fall, I get kind of similar feelings where I just I feel like I want to get a lot done because I know winter's coming. It's not like what I have to get done happens outside. But the thought of the snow and the cold and everything that's coming makes me feel like I need to be more productive. Do you ever get like that? Do you think? Do you feel like that?
I think so. I think so. For me, it's I have about a 2 month to 2.5 month slack in my world, what I would consider slack. So when the spring hits, that's when I do exactly what you're saying, where you're cooped up for fucking 5 months. And then I just want to be outside. I don't want to be in the house. I do not want to be in front of the computer. I'd rather just sit on the back deck and stare at the woods than do anything
literally
else.
Do
just
nothing.
To be out, just literally do nothing.
Yeah.
So once the kind of really warm weather has stopped, and especially now that Kai is back into school, and Kayla's picked up a little bit more clients, so she's working a little bit more. There's no. It at that point, I think what it is it just feels like it's time to get back into it and just rip the Band-Aid off. And then, of course, there is the winter is coming. So when you take a bunch of time off, right, it hurts everything, bro. It hurts your stream numbers. It hurts your income. It hurts all of that stuff. And as content creators, we know what happens when you take prolonged periods. I mean, even if you're not consistent enough, where you're on for 4 or 5 days and you're off for 3 days, then you're on for 2 days and you're off for 3 days. That shit adds up, man. It hurts. Viewers, you're going to have loyal people that are going to be there no matter what, but the vast majority, the majority of them, they will fuck off until you are basically consistent again. So I think for me, what it is I fell back so much, and it was purposely done. I knew what was happening. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, you know what? If I'm going to get back into it, let's get back into it. So, now I've just been rebuilding again, and it's going well. It's going very well. And I'm not going to let my foot off the pedal now until winter.
So, sorry on the.
Wow.
What the?
Just a random $100 super chat coming in from Midwest Magic Cleaning.
Hashtag totally not an ad.
Hey, if you guys have not used Midwest Magic Cleaning for all of your cleaning needs, head on over there. Go check them out on their social medias. Maybe they can get you in. That is Midwest Magic Cleaning, the MMC company. They're out there. They're doing big things, and they're supporting the podcast. Thank you.
Oh, shit. That's funny as fuck.
Midwest cleans hoarder houses for free on YouTube. Subscribe to Midwest Magic Cleaning.
You know what? No joke. I'm actually not convinced I haven't watched a Midwest Magic Cleaning video within the last 2 weeks. I feel like that actually happened. I'm dead serious. I think it like cropped up. It cropped up because when M's parents were here, they were on the TV upstairs all the time, right? And they were on my YouTube account. And so my YouTube algorithm is a fucking scrambled mess right now of like Filipino news networks and then other random assorted shit that they watched when they were here. And so, yeah,
damn,
that was fucking hilarious.
I'm on the channel right now. This is a big channel.
It popped off.
600,000 plus subs. These videos are fucking getting hundreds of thousands. Shoutouts to Midwest Magic Cleaning. If you guys want to watch these fine folks clean hoarder houses, and you're going to get some sort of satisfaction of watching a mess turn into a beautifully clean space, subscribe to Midwest Magic Cleaning.
The sellout is real. I love it. Well, congrats on the success on the channel. Sidebar to that. That's good shit.
We should start cleaning houses. Maybe we just need a career change here. Fuck StarCraft.
Yeah,
let's go clean hoarder houses.
This is East Coast. What do we call ourselves? East Coast lifestyle cleaning.
There you go.
Or will we get hit on the trademark for East Coast lifestyle? We might not be able to go that far.
I mean, East Coast hoarders cleaning hoarders. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
If you don't do a Halloween special called Little House of Hoarders, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh, see, look, when that pops off, patreon.com/lagtv. All right, listen, a whole month. You need to do a Halloween themed.
Somehow, I'm not sure
content.
how that works. But
do Halloween themed where you go in wearing a costume, different costume for every house.
Slutty maid outfit doesn't count for this one, unfortunately.
And you need to have creepy, scary music as you're showing the inside of the house on how creepy it is. You could probably add like sound effects and different things like that, and then you can clean it out and you can turn what is a haunted house filled with clutter into something that isn't. I don't know. That's all you're getting for $100.
Flawless content strategy coming straight out of the old boys at Lag TV.
Hey, we're trying.
Fantastic.
Man. We're trying.
But thank you, Midwest. Bless.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? I was going to segue out of that when you mentioned when we were talking about like the lifestyle thing. I could segue out of that for a second because literally the first topic for gaming news, Mr. Black. Well, first of all, I guess I should say this because we've talked about it in the StarCraft. My month.
Yeah.
I got married. That happened.
You
did the thing. It was a wonderful, glorious day. There is a StarCraft cast that was the first one of the batch we just got finished the last couple weeks, where we talked about it. So we don't need to talk about it at length here because that whole thing is basically a micro podcast. You just go watch that. It was glorious. It was magical. It was basically the perfect day. I could not have bought a better day on order if I tried. And so it was fantastic. I mean, I had a great time, and then her parents were here with us for another week or so after the wedding, and so we were touring them around the province and whatnot while they were here. It was the first time out of the Philippines, so it was a very big trip for them, and then got them home, and now we're back to it, and just kind of falling back into some semblance of a routine. I'll say the funniest part so far about it. It doesn't feel weird to be married because we've been living together for 4 years now, so it doesn't feel any different. There's a piece of paper and expensive rocks on hands, but like other than that, it feels pretty much the same. However, speaking of expensive rocks, both of us are really bad at remembering to put our rings back on in the mornings. We have a table where M has. Yeah, because it's uncomfortable for me at night. I do a lot of like
mine's on 20. This is on 24/7, 7 days a week.
I take mine off because it's uncomfortable at night, and I rub my eyes a lot, and I've already basically fucked my face up with this ring a couple of times. So I take it off and I put it. We just have like it's not even like an enclosed box. It just sits like she has a jewelry little place on a table. And so we both just put our rings there, and then in the morning when we get dressed, we just walk over and put our rings back on or whatever. And so we're still getting used to that, like a new part of the routine. For sure. However, otherwise, no, it's been great. The pictures turned out awesome. We're thrilled with that, and we were happy everyone got to come out. It was just 2 people that weren't able to make it due to illness, which was a miracle because, as Jeff can contest, everyone in this province was dying all at the same time. Brutal. It was crazy. It was brutal. So yeah, that was my month. And recently for streams, talking about doing things that don't get you viewers, but I don't care because I'm having so much fun doing it. I've been modding Skyrim again. I'm trying to put together a Wabajak list, which is basically a thing that eventually developed because Skyrim mods got so complicated and so many of them that for the average person that wanted to mod the game, it's become like you need a fucking goddamn PhD. And so these Wabajak lists, it's a launcher that people put together curated lists of mods and then meticulously figure out that they all work together, there's no major issues, and it's a one-button click install. And it downloads everything from the fucking, from the website for all the mods, installs it all, done. And so you don't have to go through all the pain and suffering of doing that, so that, the average person that maybe wants to go back to Skyrim, play a little more, because, Elder Scrolls 6 coming out in 2087, can do that easily. So I'm kind of working on that right now. It's been fun. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to watch, but it's fun for me to do. So go fuck yourself. Otherwise, that's been basically it's basically been my problem as a content creator at this point in my life, Mr. Black. And you're better at this than I am. Is even if you don't like it, you're capable of like forcing yourself to do it. I'm so bad at that.
I just want the money. I'll be honest.
It's the money.
If the money is good enough, I'll do it.
Legion.
Fuck off. Hey, though.
Speaking of, though, holy shit.
Maximus Black says, Nova War says, it's all coming.
I already had the list of Nova War says. All 10 are pre-done.
Oh,
they're already written.
He's ready. Oh,
I'm ready.
Fuck. And we're recording after this. So we're gonna be doing an episode, right?
It's a 10. So for Nova War says, it's a 10 series thing. You'll get one a week. I would imagine we're gonna do one a week for that. So you'll get one a week as a series, an exclusive series, because the Lag TV fans showed up fucking huge for that. That was insane. In fact, they showed up so huge that we like blew past the fucking caps for like most of the reasonable shit that could be done.
I'm blown away. I know they don't want me to say any names, so I won't say any names. But Adam, I got invited to a private Discord group where it is a picture of me. It's a picture of my head on a big ant. And there's a shit ton of Lag TV and people from my stream all in this thing.
Stop
helping each other out in clans, setting up stuff. They all got their levels next to them, bro. I'm blown away.
Holy shit, that's incredible. Well, we got more of these kind of like sponsorship type stuff coming through because they're a really popular thing for a lot of games to be doing right now. Clearly, they're getting good turnarounds on these kind of campaigns with creators, and because they've become so popular as a way of advertising. So we'll have more of these to do. We'll try to make it as fun for everyone as possible, and maybe that Discord will get converted into just like a Lag TV DGens, where every time a new one comes up, they're all just in there helping each other, fucking like blast through these. Which again, I can't stress, especially like not all campaigns will be like Ant Legion in terms of kickback for us, but even if they were like even if they were 30% of or 40% of what Ant Legion was giving us,
Adam,
it's
we got
still
paid, bro.
better. It's still better than if like when people are if people like, but I'm honest, like if people ask all the time still today, is it better to direct donate? Is it better to subscribe on Patreon? Is it, you know, whatever. The old saying was, you know, typically, you know, obviously direct donations and stuff like that, which is still obviously a thing. No question. But if you want to do something for free, but still provide the same amount, or like not even the same amount, usually for almost zero, almost zero. And when I say almost zero effort, like let's say you have, like in this instance, you had a month to do 2 hours worth of basically gameplay over a month. And the kickback that we would have got from that is way more than if somebody subscribed on Patreon for anything less than the like some of the more higher tiers there on the account. So you guys showed up big. We've got more coming up. We'll try to make it as fun as we can. But Ant Legion, fuck me, I never in a million years would have expected.
Well, the next
especially
game,
a Discord.
I'm not going to leak it, but we do have another one lined up, and it will be on mobile and PC, and it's not just a mobile game, so it's much more graphically intensive. It's a much better, fully fledged game. But we'll worry about that.
We'll talk about that when the time comes.
We're finishing up the Ant Legion, and we're not even really plugging that anymore. You guys have done enough, so at this point, we're just waiting.
We've literally basically maxed it. Yeah. So God fucking bless you all and Godspeed. But yeah, to go back to the segue a million times over about infringement with our content idea for one Mrs. Midwest Magic Cleaning. I'm just going to assume this is a pair of people working on this channel together. It took a hot minute, but Nintendo and the Pokemon Company filed a joint lawsuit in Japan against Pocket Pair over Palworld allegedly infringing on one or more patents. That just dropped today, Mr. Black. So when Palworld first came out, we talked about it extensively. We were convinced that if they were going to sue, they would have sued in the first maybe 6 weeks of that game coming out.
No. They said, hey, why don't you guys make all your money first?
Yeah.
Then we're going to fuck you.
Then we're going to come after you. I think it's a little bit of that. And but the interesting part about this whole thing isn't necessarily that they're suing. Fine enough. You could come up with a million ways to sue Palworld, I would imagine, as a Pokemon Company and Nintendo. But the difficulty, or what everyone would have thought would have been copyright for character designs. Because a lot of these pals are fucking basically 99.9% Pokemon that exist today. Including the cover art Pokemon that basically looks like, you know, Electabuzz, for God's sake. It's basically Electabuzz with a chain gun. So, but it's not that. It's patents, which points to not so much designs as game mechanics, specifically. Which, while easier in Japan than it would be in North America, and I think probably also in Europe, because we are relatively similar in this regard, if memory serves, patents for game mechanics are notoriously hard to lock down, because if you just start patenting game mechanics, imagine what the game fucking ecosystem looks like, right?
Yeah, looks bad.
So famously difficult to do. Now in Japan, as we've discussed in various ways before, defending intellectual property in Japan, whether it be through patent or copyright, is different. It's way more stringent, and it's heavily encouraged for companies to basically just wholesale fucking go after everything to protect it, under the assumption that if they no longer protect it, that it will set a precedent that they'll lose a battle if they try to defend it in the future. With that being said, interesting that it's a patent. It is possible that they have patents on certain Pokemon designs. Like, I wouldn't shock me if maybe Pikachu was patented, for example. Mm-hmm. However, I'm really interested about this because there are other games that came before Palworld that also made pretty good money that are still existing right now that are as egregious, especially in regard to game mechanics specifically, as Pokemon, and they never went anywhere near it. Do you remember Temtem, where it took over Twitch for a short time? Temtem is still a thing. And it's not tiny. Temtem is a relatively large community that's still thriving and going on right now. Temtem is way closer to the actual gameplay loop of Pokemon than Palworld. Like, Palworld's character designs are similar, but an open world concept of basically like catching mons with a ball. The ball part and the character designs are as close as it gets, because the rest of it is basically, my God, you're giving them guns and you're out on the open fucking world doing crazy shit and putting them into slave labor doing like survival game. It's a survival game, for God's sake. Temtem is not a survival game. Temtem is literally Pokemon. Just called Temtem. Which I have to say is a fucking horrible name, and I still don't know why they landed on Temtem. But yeah, Pokemon Company and Nintendo went nowhere near that, and yet here we are with Palworld. So I find it remarkably interesting for both of those reasons. It's not copyright, it's patents, and they didn't go after Temtem, but they're going after Palworld. And it took them this long, which, again, one could look at it and say, okay, well, it's because they waited for them to make all their money. Palworld made 95% of their money in the first month. Palworld's been out for a year, right? Yeah. They sold 5 million copies in the first, 3 days. So they made the majority of their money in literally the first month after it came out. And if you went and looked at Steam charts right now, Mr. Black, for Palworld, I bet you it's sub 30,000. Let me see. Yeah. The 24-hour peak is 26K. So that's not a small number, but it's not a million fucking people, right? Yeah. So they peaked a long time ago. Their all-time peak is, I think, still the record, 2.1, or close to the record, because PUBG, I think, still holds it. 2.1 million was their all-time peak. And now they're averaging 26K, which is very healthy and sustainable. I think there's lots of games that would love to have 30,000. Destiny had 31K 24-hour period the other day, so 30K is a very healthy number. So it's weird that it took them this long. I think that some of it is because they're going after patents and not copyright. There must be a reason for that. I would imagine that they must not be that confident about it, or weren't confident about it until now. Maybe they had to take nearly a year to build a case that they thought they were going to slam dunk it. Yeah, that's just so crazy. So I don't know. Anyway, very interesting that happened. I never would have thought it would have happened. I would have thought it would have happened last year if they were going to do it at all. But here we are, and now we'll have to wait and see what comes out of it. I don't know how much information we'll actually get, because this is all being handled in Japan, and their system is obviously different than ours in terms of what information is released. But I'm sure both companies, during and or after the proceedings, probably after the proceedings, will have their own press releases to talk about whatever the outcome is. And who knows how long this will even fucking take. But one thing's for sure, time is on Nintendo's side, because for as much money as Palworld has, Nintendo has got a lot more fucking money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Nintendo's they got a printer, and it don't shut off. So good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. Sony announced, and this is the next big piece of news here that was just in the last week recently. Sony announced the PS5 Pro, Mr. Black, officially now a thing, along with its specs and pricing, and it was immediately a hot topic, though that was mostly because of the expense. Pretty much everyone's just talking about how much it costs. They don't give a fuck about anything else.
Or something nuts. Yeah,
it's $700, which means in Canada it will be like $940.
Yeah. No.
So that's really expensive for a console. But I do, I have a couple of caveats to that. The first thing is, let's just talk about what this thing comes with, so we can try to contextualize $700 as an asking price. It doesn't have, first of all, it doesn't have a disk drive. This is a really weird choice. Weird in the sense that, because it's the Pro model, you'd think it would be like going into a car dealership and you're going all the way to the Limited, and the Limited, whether you want it or not, they strap every fucking bell and whistle to that bitch. Yeah. It is just coated in whatever. If I went in and I said I want a Limited RAV and it comes with a moonroof, but I don't want it because I'm tall and it lowers the roof line to my head, they'd say, too bad. Limited comes with a fucking moonroof, deal with it. You'd think the PS5 Pro would just be laced with shit, whether they thought people were going to use it or not. Because at this point, I suspect the vast majority of sales on PlayStation 5 are digital and not people buying physical discs. And for hardware, as we all know, margins are dog shit And so if they can drop a disk drive out of the production line and then sell it separately, which they are for $80, then they get to like hit on the people who are desperate enough for a fucking disk drive and save the razor thin margin that the PS5 Pro is probably dealing with. So I understand why from an economic perspective, but at the same time, it's like, Jesus, man, if this bitch doesn't even have a disk drive, come on. The next part, 2 terabyte hard drive. So it has no disk drive, but it doubles the storage over the base model of the PS5. I know you don't play too many games, but you do play Grand Theft Auto, which is a pretty sizable game in and of itself. Do you think in the modern era that 2 terabytes for a Pro model without a disk drive is enough?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too, but just. I mean, like, just. Most games are coming in at 50 to 100 gigs right now.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't need to go into this forever because I think we've had this conversation like 4 or 5 times, but it just feels like 2 terabytes is enough. Personally, if there was an option to get a 1 terabyte with the disk drive, I'd prefer that.
Yes, I agree.
Than just a 2 terabyte. But at the same time, how many, like, say your average game is 100 gigabytes, right? Some are going to be less. Very few, I don't think, are going to be any more than that, but just say 100 gigs.
Most like AAA titles are, floating between 50 and 100 gigs.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, 20 games?
Yeah, so you have to look at the attach rate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they exist, but how many gamers have 20 AAA games installed on their on their PlayStation that they're currently playing? Like, I mean, it's got to be like sub 5%. I can't imagine, and that even feels like a lot.
The operating system and all that stuff, and 2 terabytes isn't really 2 terabytes operating system. You're probably looking at let's call it 1.5 gigs, maybe a little less than 1.5 gigs for the 2 terabyte, which is why I say it's like riding the line. Like, that's just enough. Yeah. I think in general, for most people, if you can install somewhere between 5 and 10 games at any given time of like full games, not like smaller ones and stuff, but like full. If you can get between 5 and 10 at any given time, I think that's probably fine. I think people just see no disk drive and 2 terabytes and go, like, even though logically, again, you could sit down and say that's probably enough. It just feels bad because it costs so much money. And it's not, and that is a thing too, is that solid state drives are cheap, but this is not a solid state drive, like a standard solid state drive. These are M2 Gen 4 plus drives that are not as cheap necessarily as an SSD. Cheaper than what they would sell you for, obviously, but still pretty expensive. So 2 terabytes, no disk drive. And so the next thing is, of course, well, what does this do that the PlayStation 5 doesn't? Well, it does a whole bunch of shit. It's mostly graphical fidelity, obviously, is the primary driver for the Pro, just like with the PS4 Pro, where it opened up a lot more performance for games.
Let's be real, Adam. This is designed for Grand Theft Auto 6. That's why we talked about.
This is Grand Theft Auto 6.
This is it. Yeah. This is it, because I highly doubt that there are many AAA games that are even being produced to play this on the most intensive graphical.
There will be a handful of games where you'll play it and see a difference that's appreciable. Yeah. So again, it's like, who is it really for?
Yeah. It's for Grand Theft Auto. It's for to sell Grand Theft Auto, and to sell more consoles on the back of Grand Theft Auto. That's what this is.
As for the price, this thing puts out roughly an RTX 4070 level of graphical power. Is what you're looking at. If you were to go out and buy one right now, just the graphics card alone, it's going to cost you $550, which means you're putting the rest of your computer together. That's before tax. Putting the rest of the computer together for a hand job and a handshake. It is a very expensive console, but for what it's doing, it is priced fine. It is okay. The problem is not, in my opinion, that it's too expensive. It's just not for you if you think it's too expensive. Because if in the same way that a 4070 is also not for you if you're worried about $700.
Yeah.
Because unless you have a PC, let's say, that was built in the last 5 years, and when you built it, it was brand new parts and not like, previous gen to save yourself some cash, you can't just plop a 4070 into that computer and have it beat the PS5 Pro. It won't happen. So there is no possible fucking way to make that work. And for most people playing games, right, a console is still king.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Set it and forget it. Like rotisserie fucking chicken. Now, the last part to this is to just keep in mind, PS4 Pro was only 15% of all PS4 sold.
Yep. Sounds about right.
I don't think they're hoping that this will sell more than that. I think that this is for people who want the best of the best, so they'll sell their current one for a new one. It's for people who haven't bought in yet and have been thinking about a PlayStation and look at the price difference and go, well, shit, if I haven't bought in yet and I just want to be able to play everything, whatever might come at its best, I don't own one already, I might as well spend the extra $200. Go in and buy it. And then the rest is, well, there is nobody else. That's basically who this is for.
Well, and then also there's going to be, I think Sony probably understands that there'll be a lot of people that'll upgrade consoles just to have the new toy.
Well, that's what I mean, sell their current and buy.
Exactly. Yeah. But then, as you sell your regular PS5, right, it's going to add new people that don't already have a PlayStation. Maybe they're Xbox users. Or maybe they just haven't had a console yet, and now they're going to buy one on the secondhand market for a couple $100. And then now they'll be able to, get more subscriptions to whatever Sony has and buy games and so on and so forth. But I just think this is just primed up, ready to go for Grand Theft Auto 6. And that'll be that.
Yep.
That'll be that. I ain't buying it.
No. However, there are people that will buy this next one. Sony today announced the 30th. I linked that so you can see the picture of it, Mr. Black. Sony also announced today a 30th anniversary edition of pretty much the entire PS5 family of hardware lineup, including the PS5, the PS5 Pro, their controllers, including their Pro controller, which I have the current edition of right now that I got on sale after a store went out of business. And even the Portal, which is the thing that nobody ever fucking talks about. They're only making 12,300 units of this shit, so it's going to be very limited. And like I said, the DualSense controller, the DualSense Edge, the charging station is also getting its thing, a console cover for the disc drive to match if you buy the fucking disc drive. Vertical stand, one of 30 possible designs for the posters. Honestly, one of the coolest parts about this, as weird as it is that it has a PS1 style cable connector housing. So it's the the USB-C connector or whatever the fuck, but the housing is that, that flat gray looking cable. Which honestly is probably the main reason for me if I ever want to buy one, is just for that, because that's just a great fucking idea. It's a sexy machine that looks great. The gray, the color buttons are back. It's fantastic. It's going to cost a fortune, and scalpers are going to fucking ream you for it because they're getting there before you. But for everyone else that gets there, congratulations. You pulled it off.
I might actually try and pick one up and just never open it. Just hold it.
That'd be a good idea. If you get a Pro model and you just fucking sit on that bitch.
Just sit the 30th anniversary edition. Just grab that.
Buy up all of it. You got collect the whole set. Guano bowls. Collect the whole set. And then in another 30 years, sell it for $4 trillion. I think that's the inflation should be somewhere around $4 trillion by then. I think that's probably what we're shooting for.
It will be if Justin Trudeau continues to be in office. Fucking dipshit.
You gotta get that Justin Trudeau jab in.
Fucking hate that guy so much. I'm sorry.
Every time. Okay, so while Astrobot is easily a Game of the Year contender, you saw a little bit of that when you stopped by the stream the other week, and a huge W for Sony. Concord, one of the biggest fails in modern gaming history. Have you seen just how bad this bitch bombed?
Oh, I saw. I did a little bit of a, not even deep dive, but I watched like an hour worth of content
Oh, bro.
on the colossal failure that is this game. I mean, it's kind of comedic, to be honest. It's fucking bad.
If you set out in 2016, which is when this game started to be made, by the way, 8 years on this bitch, 8 years. If you went back then and said, all right, we want to make an Overwatch game because Overwatch is pretty popular. And then when you set out to do that, you made every wrong decision possible for nearly a decade straight and managed to find a way to spend $100 million in doing so. That's Concord.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's fucking atrocious. So, with that being said, over $100 million budget, 8-year development time. I call it the Guardians of the Overwatch Bad Character Design Edition. Didn't even break 700 concurrent players on launch day on Steam.
Damn.
Not even, or any day following. At no point have they gone north of like 697 or something players on Steam.
Damn.
Bruh. That is, there are one-off like $3 indie games that like you pretend to be a rock that have more fucking players. Like there are asset flips currently on Steam right now with more than 700 concurrent players. It died in less than 2 weeks. That is insane to me. However, that being said, Sony did, rightfully and smartly, almost immediately pull the plug. They didn't wait. And you got to remember, Sony's gaming division is currently under new leadership. Jim Ryan stepped down, and now they have 3 heads, right? They have a software head, a hardware head, and then like the president that plays mediator between the 3 of them. So old Jimmy Boy, before he left, as he was famously known for, made the announcement that the PlayStation division was going to be focusing heavily on live service games, like just dumping tons. Like they had I can't remember the number, like 50 fucking, some insane number, just live service, please. It's all we want. That was Jim Ryan's motto. Probably because, again, like we've mentioned before, chasing the Fortnite dragon is everyone's, it's everyone's like death wish. I don't know why people just keep doing it. Probably because as a CEO, you just never fail anyway. Somebody else hires you. So you just make the decisions that you think everyone wants to hear, and you get paid like $40 million to do it. It's really, it's a really cushy job. So, Jim Ryan makes all those decisions and finds a way to help back this game for $100 million, which just fucking collapses. But they shut it down. They refunded the game. So Sony was just sending out all sorts of refunds. That's how bad this was. They didn't even get prompted. This didn't require a social media fucking outcry. Sony stepped in themselves and said,
no, this ain't it.
It's time to old yeller this bitch. Only 12 days old. It's going out back and we're shooting it and taking it out of its misery. I will say, I'm hoping that this is the first of a few, that it will take a few, because it won't be one. The first of a few failures at this scale for a live service game that will finally signal to the CEOs currently leading these fucking companies that were brought in from outside the games industry that are choosing to do these types of games to look at that and go, oh, should we spend $100 million on just one shitty video game that will die in the first 2 months?
No. No, you shouldn't. Stop.
No. Stop, please. Yeah. Please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop. Next up, Sony was not the only one holding some public relations L's, as Microsoft announced another 650 layoffs from its video game workforce, predominantly centered around the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Post-acquisition, Microsoft has now laid off some 2,550 staff, which Phil Spencer clarified in the most recent memo for the 650 layoffs are basically exclusively related to the acquisition itself. So these are layoffs that are shit. Nobody wants them. Everyone hates acquisitions for this reason. But that's what happens. You get 2 companies coming together. They have a lot of overlapping roles, and eventually somebody that's in an overlapping role gets removed. And so 2,550 staff total, 650 is the latest number. And I don't think it's the last of it. You're probably going to get another couple of rounds after that, but I do think it's going to slow down a little bit, probably this year. They'll have most of that sussed out by the end of this year. I would imagine they're trying to figure this out before the end of fiscal. If I had to take a shot in the dark, get all this done before the end of fiscal.
Yep.
Quick news bits, Mr. Black.
Ooh, quick news bits.
Quick news bits, so we don't have to sit and talk, at length about any one of them, unless one comes up. Well, there's one that you might want to talk about at length if you want to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Hawk announced that he's working with Activision again on a project fans will enjoy. My body is ready. I don't think there's very many Tony Hawk games that sucked ass. It took a long time before they started to drop off, like a really long time.
Yeah. I think if they do another one, they'll make it good. I really do.
I hope so. I think, man, do you think the world is ready because skateboarding seems like it's kind of having a renaissance right now?
Yeah.
Do you think the world is ready for a Tony Hawk game revival?
The world is ready, and it needs to, they cannot reinvent the wheel. They need to go back to the roots and hit us with the nostalgia. Give us that old school fucking Tony Hawk feel with your modern mechanics, and just fucking let us build our own skate parks as wild as we want, and let us fucking go nuts. I'm here for it.
It's a great opportunity too, because there's so many new high profile, incredible skateboarders around the world right now. A lot of different countries are getting involved. Great opportunity, just like the old Tony Hawk games. How many people heard of like half the people that were in those games? Everyone heard Tony Hawk, but like nobody knew who the fuck like any of these other people were really in the general public. And then they became more common names that people were aware of. It's a great time for that to happen. I'm excited to see what comes out of that, and hopefully it is good. Remember that Unity fiasco? If you don't, the long story was the CEO again that was not part of the industry, just brought in from outside to increase profits, but like as always, they don't increase profits, they bomb the fucking company, and nobody seems to ever learn their lesson. Comes in and makes the decision to like try to charge for like every install and like every time the game runs and shit. It was a crazy fucking insano. Anyway, he got fired. It took too long, but he got fired. That fucking idiot. And thankfully, they just reported here, or they announced here recently, that they are canceling the runtime fee effective immediately. I would imagine that's because, well, everyone was running away from them.
Yeah.
Who in the fuck is going to want to do that? Like, nobody. It's crazy. Crazy. Ars Technica reported that apparently Valve runs... This is some crazy shit. Ars Technica reported apparently Valve runs its huge-ass ecosystem with only about 350 employees.
Hey, keep it lean and keep it mean, baby.
God damn.
Keep it lean and keep it mean. It just goes to show. You don't need 2,000 employees to make things happen. You just got to have focused people that know what they're doing. You treat them right. Hey, do we hear in the headlines Valve is laying off 700 employees?
Nah.
No. You know why? Because they keep it lean and they keep it mean.
And you know what else we don't hear? We don't hear Valve hired another 2,000 employees during an expansionary period during the pandemic because everyone was getting free money.
That's it. They kept it lean.
Amazing.
Can't hate on that.
Amazing what happens when the company doesn't just grow for the sake of growing, because again, somebody at the top. Again, I need to, the saying that the hardest, the first million's the hardest, and then everything that comes after that's kind of like fucking whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when it comes to once you get into a C-suite position, you're done. You can fail upward in perpetuity. Like like how many times have we seen CEOs hired fail fucking, not just a little bit, but like borderline kill the company.
Yep.
Golden parachute, hired by another company, like the same week.
Yes. Isn't it crazy?
Any other employee at any level makes a tiny mistake, and they're fired and they're fucked.
You know what it feels like? It feels like some of these CEOs, they come in, they get paid exuberant amount of money.
Oh yeah.
They realize what they're getting themselves into, and then sometimes I think they know what they're getting themselves into. They know it's going to fail.
Yeah.
But they take a big shot at the dark. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna if this works,
Full send.
I'm a god. I'm a god. And if it doesn't work, well, I'm getting my millions. I'm gonna get fired. And throughout this process, it's almost like they're already talking to the next company, saying, "Hey, listen, I just made this decision.
I'll be done here soon.
This might go real bad. Can you hook me up with a job afterwards?" And then they get fired, and within 2 weeks, they're hired somewhere else. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, who hires Don Matrick after what he did to Microsoft, the Xbox division with Xbox One? Who the fuck hires him?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a bad, shitty reality TV show where you're on a dating show, and you're there, and you got 5 chicks, you got 5 dudes, and just naturally, they all just kind of find one, and then they get used up. And then they get dumped. And then when they get dumped, they walk back into the house and they look around. Well, there's only, 4 other chicks now. I guess I got to pick one of them. It's like there's this pool of CEOs that, I mean, they get fucked on or they do some fucking and then they move on to the next one. And it's just like this recycled, regurgitated cesspool of bad decisions.
Dude, it's fucking insane. It's insane. So, like, I think it's, you know what? Valve is clearly, like, the version of, like, a From Software where they talk about how they try to keep employees long-term. Or, like, Nintendo, where the people making Mario games today have been making Mario games for 20 fucking years.
Yep.
You don't get success by having an insane churn rate and just fucking, like, in perpetuity, just, like, turning people out at every level of the company over and over again. Those 350 employees, I bet you, like, half of them or more have been with the company for 2 decades.
Yep. And I bet you they're getting paid well, too.
Oh, bro, can you imagine?
I bet you they're getting paid real well.
Oh, my God.
Real well.
And, like, even if you were getting paid market rate, if you're at Valve, do you even fucking care?
No.
No, because you're
your
at Valve.
Job is good.
Yes.
Your job is good. And you know you're getting paid well. You don't hear any drama over there. It's rare.
No, you hear
rare.
nothing.
There ain't no employees going on Twitter saying, I've been in a fucking slave sweatshop for the last 7 months. Doing
Somebody
80
drank
hours
my
a week.
breast milk last week. Like, nobody's doing that shit.
You don't see any of that. These motherfuckers are out there printing money, running the game, literally, and, the employees seem happy. So, hey, keep
Big
it up.
dub. Baldur's Gate 3 Toolkit and Final Fantasy 16 modding are both now available, which means so are the tits.
I love tits.
First week, I mean, the developers over Final Fantasy 16, the director was like, guys, can we, like, just no. Maybe just, can we keep the, like, does Jill need to be naked in the first 24 hours? No. Can we just don't do that? Bitch, you know those tits are out for Harambe in the first 48 hours. No question. No question. Everyone, main characters, all the men, shirtless. All the women, bikinis, immediately. If they're lucky to have a bikini on. I don't even, okay, now, and that's Final Fantasy 16. The degeneracy that's already included off the shelf for Baldur's Gate 3 is bad. So can you imagine what the fuck the modding community is gonna do? Bro, there will be crimes committed in Baldur's Gate 3 modding communities.
Yes. They're gonna be locked up like P. Diddy. It's gonna get real bad.
They got 1,000 jars of fucking baby oil. I heard somebody say, I watched a video, I can't remember who it was, watched a video the other day. Fuck, who was it? It was a reaction to the Diddy thing where they announced that they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil in the house. And
no way.
They probably, it might have been an Asmongold video, or there's couple black guys that do videos together. I can't remember their channel name. Anyway, they paused the video and said, guilty. I don't care what the fuck. No normal human being got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. You did some shit. I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm just gonna go say it. If some nigga's got 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house, some shit's going down.
Some shit's happening, bro.
I'm just keeping it a buck. Some crimes are being committed. Okay,
100%.
Something fucky's going on. Send him to jail. I've seen the tapes.
I've seen enough. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's it. I mean, even though it wouldn't hold up in court, you got to imagine the judge hears that. The first thing the judge thinks is, Yeah, you guilty.
He's guilty. Did he do it? Oh, he did it.
Oh, he did.
Do you hear about that 50 Cent documentary coming out? It's called Did He Do It?
Dude.
Oh, man.
You know, okay, so there's no way that there's no fucking shot that he didn't already have that shit filmed and banked waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it happened immediate. That first announcement came out 50 on Twitter. Gotcha, bitch. And then like a week later.
Oh, yeah.
Documentary.
Oh, bro, it's going to be a meme. It's going to be a meme. Diddy's done. Diddy's done. It's over. Done. He's going to be in jail for a long fucking time.
Oh, my God.
A long time. He's going to be next to R. Kelly in jail.
He's going to wish that he had those 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Oh, well, you know what, though? I'm thinking he's probably going to like jail a little bit.
You out there intentionally dropping the soap?
He ain't even going to drop the soap. He's just going to... He's just already going to be down on all fours. So, I mean... He's going to be looking for people to drop the soap.
Did he? What a fucking mess.
Did he do
Absolute fucking mess.
I think he did. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Except for that one video where it's not even alleged. It was just him in the hallway committing crimes. Yes. That's basically just...
What a piece of shit, dude. What a fucking piece of shit that guy is,
This man came out in a fucking towel and decided to commit assault.
Seriously.
Fucking crazy.
You're worth over $1 billion, dude. You are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen. Really, truly. I mean, that's what happens though when you feel like you're invincible. You know?
Yeah, you stop caring. You just do whatever the fuck you want.
Caring, bro. You think he literally thinks he's a kingpin.
Well, he
probably was for a long time. You know.
Some shit's been going down for like 30 years at this point.
Decades.
So you get a combination of like megalomaniac billionaire already, but then he's been untouched for 30 years. So even without the money, he'd probably it's like a serial killer. After a while, they tend to just keep putting more and more evidence in front of the police because they keep getting more and more brazen. We're like, oh, you can't catch me. There's fucking more and more. It feels like that where it's like, they feel more and more invincible. So they just do things more and more publicly to the point where he just dragged her out in a fucking hallway and went to work. And you're like, bro, you can't.
Just dumb.
You can't do that.
Just dumb. No, you can't. You can't do that, period, bud. I don't care who you are. Piece of shit.
Fucking
anyway.
Puff Daddy. We could do a whole podcast just making Diddy jokes. Annapurna's entire game workforce. This is crazy. Annapurna's entire, and I have it in caps because it was everyone. Game workforce resigned at one time. In unison. Because of some crazy internal shit. I'm not sure what the internal shit was yet. It was like a leadership thing at the top. So Annapurna is like a combo of video games, other content like movie, TV type kind of situations. So it's a parent company and there's a games division. And they've made some popular games in the last few years, but Annapurna's entire game workforce left at the same resign all at one time because of what was going on. I haven't heard great details as to what it is yet, but that's some solidarity. Your entire game workforce at the same time. Well, not even a strike. This ain't a strike. This is, bitch, we're gone. Packed up and left. Management and all.
They said, everybody's like, yo,
deuces.
I got bills to pay, but I don't give a fuck. This place sucks. I'm out.
Do you know how bad it has to be for your whole workforce to resign at the same time? Like, this is not even a drip feed. Like, oh, somebody left, and then another group, and then a couple more people. They woke up on a Tuesday and coordinated this shit like the Lag TV fucking Discord channel with your head on it and said, it's time to go to war. And then left all at the same time. Like, that's crazy. So I don't know if we're ever going to get all the deets on that, but if we do, you best believe I'll let you guys know what's going on, because I've never heard of that happening before. That's like an insane, crazy situation. And last but not least, Mr. Black, we can talk about this there. I'm sure you've watched some videos on this. Up a Tree Zelda, Jason, the usual crew, they've all done lengthy monologue type videos on this, but there's been, slight updates since. Stormgate, it's a video game that's still alive-ish, doing better than Concord. So, props. Conceded to some degree that their art style was doo-doo, and so showed off the improved shaders and near complete redesign of their lead character.
Yeah, patch just came out like today. Just
And the
came,
patch,
just dropped
like
an
today.
hour ago.
Yep, getting dropped. Shader update for the maps. I don't know if the shader update applied to single player campaign only or also multiplayer. I didn't get a chance to
multi.
see.
It's right across. It's right
Okay.
across the board. The game looks so much better now.
Yeah. Amazing what having some shaders will actually do and not have everything just look like a flat fucking color. That character design upgrade is huge because the original character design, and I'm not being facetious. I don't even think this is hyperbole. Top 5 worst designs I've ever seen in a video game.
Oh, it's bad.
Ever made.
Real bad. It was embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
So, this patch is massive. Huge balance patch. Obviously the main character, I think her name's Amara. So she looks way better. New celestial hero, new maps, improved map terrain textures, improved environmental lighting. There's new weekly mutation challenges. Now they have customizable hotkey modifiers. Finally, they finally improved the pathing. Thank fuck. And they improved observer and replay UI. So now there's a new replay system.
Wow.
So that's huge. I can't wait to see that.
Did they fix the audio?
Yes. So they've completely overhauled the audio. They turned up some of the audio and stuff. And then
they
in
turned
October,
down some of the audio.
Yes. So in October, they have a roadmap. In October, they've got 3v3, the Team Mayhem 3v3 alpha playtest. They got Chapter 0 campaign improvements, new Vanguard hero skins, improved map terrain, again, additional art improvements, and then more audio improvements. And then the next one is going to be Vanguard's Chapters 2 and 3, a complete map editor, new Tier 3 units, new heroes, play campaigns with friends, integrated tournaments that'll be right on the ladder as well, or I guess on the whatever they call it, their BattleNet equivalent, and additional learning tools. So, huge. This is do or die. Is do or die time. So essentially,
do you think this is the patch that determines it, Mr. Black?
I do. Yeah, This is it. If the game does not improve here, I haven't played it. I probably will play a couple games tonight, but I'll be playing it throughout the weekend. If the game is not better, it's still gonna need a ton of work. But if there isn't substantial, what they've done is the Reddit and YouTube, everybody stopped playing the game, dude. Like if you were to go to the Stormgate on Twitch, there'd be like 15 to 50 people watching for like the last 2 weeks. It's bad. Unless there's like Nathanius or Nina or someone along those lines, you know, they would be carrying basically that. But even a lot of those players basically said, okay, we'll come back during the patch. This is it. If what has happened is they've been memed on and people have been complaining so much, then finally they come up with this patch notes and people started turning their views around a little bit. Now they're giving them some praise. They need to follow through here. If they fucking fall flat, the pathing is still horrible. The art direction's not good. If there's crazy amounts of lag and things are broken and the balance is complete and utter ass and they do not fix it in a considerable period of time, which they already said, they're going to be looking very closely at the balance, and then they're going to do a mini patch in between the larger patches. So it's going to be a, big patch, mini patch, big patch, mini patch, big patch, mini patch. So, they left that dog meta go on for way too long, and it basically killed the game. Let's just see if they can resuscitate it now. I think if they do really well with this update, people will then look forward to the next update. They do well with that. I think they'll get some momentum, but time will tell. The UI changing with the replays, I'm excited about. Hopefully we get health bars, we get game timers, names, all that stuff, and then we can get started and start doing some small shit. But they need this because the game is dying and it's not even born yet. It's like,
And the major content creators have been putting a lot of time into the game. I feel like they've been relatively fair with it in general, because it's true that if you look at like all the things that were busted in it, I mean, this is an early access game, but there are just things that even if it's early access, they didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not talking from a balance perspective. I expected this game to have some crazy shit going on. I was more worried about the speed in which they fixed the balance than the fact that it was broken. That's fine. But, like, the audio specifically was weird to me in the sense that, like, I couldn't imagine how, before they went early access, any of them internally were playing the game going, yeah, we can ship that. Like, and it's not even a difficult thing. They could have just, even if the audio wasn't final, they could have just normalized the audio files and everything could have been the same volume and comfortable. But instead you had, like, one unit attacks another unit and the sound is, like, barely audible, and then the same unit attacks a tree and you're deaf. Like, actual, like, 0 dB, like, unfucking compressed madness.
It was bad. It was bad.
Is bad.
It was unacceptably bad.
Like, I just didn't know how any, like, there were certain things like that where I just looked at it and went, and that's why I was like, I couldn't take it seriously. It's like $40 million and you're putting out, like, that.
This?
Even in early access was weird.
Well, they started coming out with some videos. There's been some interviews, and they finally admitted that, like, hey, this stuff was not up to par, essentially. Also, they kind of doubled down now on, like, we are not StarCraft, so now they're starting
we're flipping the script. All right.
They're starting to curb expectations, because we discussed when you're going to compare yourself to StarCraft, bro, and your game is like this. Oh, you're literally asking for people to just fuck all over you. The only thing that they got that was just as good as StarCraft, in my opinion, was the music. That was it. The music is great. It's A+. Everything else, no. In comparison to StarCraft, no. So I think now they're starting to. I think they know that this is do or die time. This is it. So we'll see. We shall see.
And that's it for game news, which means it's time for a little bit of a quick sellout, Mr. Black, before we move on.
Patreon.com/LagTV. Head on over there. Throw some money at the screen. Keep us going. If you can't afford to do that, that's okay. Make sure to share the podcast. Support our sponsors when they come through, whether those are the video games that we've been plugging or NordVPN. Stay safe, stay anonymous on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button. I use my VPN to mask my IP to watch region block content, such as different versions of Netflix. I'm here in Canada. Sometimes I want to watch something in the US. I use it when I'm traveling so that I'm not using public Wi-Fi to keep my information safe. And I also use it a lot for UFC because, oh my God. Okay. I use it a lot for UFC because on Twitter, because on Twitter, a lot of I can't even think. Somebody just gifted 100 subs. Okay. That's just happened. Because on Twitter, when UFC posts things, clips, it's usually region blocked to the States. So I can mask my IP and then just quickly watch that content. Of course, guys, you can use it to game, lessen your ping. There's a ton of stuff that you can do. And of course, just have anonymity no matter where you're at. Use it on any device, Android, iOS, your Mac, your PC, and it is less than a cup of coffee a month. That's right, just a few bucks a month. You support us, the sponsor, and of course, yourself, most importantly, while you're on the internet, no matter where you're at. Use up to 6 simultaneous devices and have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like the service for any reason, get your money back within 30 days. Go and check them out. That is nordvpn.com/OTT. Link is in the description below. And shout-outs to the Drika dropping in a hundo bomb. And when I say a hundo bomb, as in 100 subs, that's our biggest bomb ever in Technical Alpha history, right there. Boom.
It is. Took it. Dreka, who is a mod on my channel.
Legendary Dreka.
Is walking over and spending it here. God fucking bless you, Dreka. You absolute mad lad. Yo, Dreka, I don't know how bad it's been on your channel, but the bots on this on Twitch have been insane for the last few months now. Oh, but the last few weeks specifically, sorry. Like real
Hasn't been
bad.
bad on mine. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. I had one the other day that what was it, like 8:30 in the morning, like they're on a timer. Like 60 of them came through all at the same time. Like, best viewers, fucking whatever the fuck, blah, 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 blah. And now, like, so Drekka had a bot scripted to immediately ban any of those that came through. Immediately. And it worked perfectly. It did, it's so fast, it didn't even fucking enter the chat. You just look up, I look up on my screen, and it said ban. Gone. I didn't even see the message, shit was just gone.
Gone.
Less than 48 hours later, Twitch implements a new thing to try to curb the bots, where it puts those messages in like a timeout zone that says like possible like harassment or something like that. It's again a different thing, and it's separate from the chat. So now the bot can't see it. So instead, for me and the people with mod view, the viewers aren't seeing it, but mod view and it's just getting fucking memed by these stupid fucking bots that we already had a solution for, that Twitch is just like, they're like helping but not helping at the same time. It's just a pain in the ass. So now he's trying to figure out how to fucking use this new system. It was just so funny because it was literally like 2 days later. He had figured it out. He was like, oh, great, it's working, everything's flawless. 2 days later, gone. Can't even fucking work it anymore. And I don't believe it. He said it hurts my soul. It hurt mine too. And it hurt Frenchie, who was the only moderator in my chat that early in the morning. And he's never in the stream because he's so busy, but he's only there early because it was before work. And he was there for like 10 minutes, and most of his time was spent fucking manually banning like 1,000 goddamn bots that came through the stream. This is freaking terrible. Either way, unfortunately, NordVPN does not solve that problem, but it solves lots of other problems. So, as Mr. Black said, go and check them out through the link in the description below. And now it's time for us to move on to
movies and TV.
John Wick. I know we all love some John Wick. Do we love John Wick enough to go for round 5? Well, it doesn't matter because we're getting it anyway. Apparently, production is going to start sometime in 2025, and Keanu Reeves is, of course, returning.
They're milking that.
I think they even said that they penned 6. Like, they haven't committed to 6 as a movie, but they've penned it.
From what I've heard is 5 and 6 will be kind of attached.
Yeah. Like, do you think they're going to film back to back? Like, they're just going to run one right into the next?
Yep.
Like, listen, John Wick is fucking fire. And I bet you the action is still going to be
Adam,
better than basically.
Just say it, Adam. We've gone too far, man. We let 4 slide.
Yeah. Well, no, we let it on. No, you know what? Can I say something? Can I cook for a second? One changed movie history, flat out. 2 reminded us like that Keanu Reeves is still a fucking action god. 3, like Matrix, should never have been fucking made. 3 was bad and did nothing. The action wasn't as good. The inclusion of the dogs and fucking what's her name in there was bad. Nobody should watch 3, really. Not even fans of John Wick need to see 3. 4 was kind of fucking insane. Not from a lore, like the lore was not as good as 1, but it was better than 2 and 3.
Yeah.
The action was insane, and I would watch that movie specifically just for the fucking shotgun house clear every single time.
Fire.
That one scene. Literally fire.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. 5
but you know what, dude?
Has a, like, does 5 have to, like, are we jumping the shark with 5 for action to make it work? Is that your concern? Because it's mine. Because we know the story means nothing anymore. The story is literally dead. So, which is a funny thing to say. But the action, do you think we're just going to be jumping the shark now and it's going to turn into like a meme?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a different level of dumb. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to see people with like super serum and they ain't fucking like human like. Like I think that's where we're going.
They're off the senzu bean.
Yeah, it's getting there. But hey, we'll see, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they're cheap to make. They make tons of money. Keanu's having fun.
Yep.
And if you know what, if we only got to watch one of these movies every 2 or 3 years,
that's fine.
It's fine. But do we need this? No, we don't need this. We don't need.
I'll still watch it. I just don't need it.
Don't necessarily. Yeah, I definitely. I don't even really want it. But
Yeah.
if it's there, just like some really good salt and vinegar kettle chips after you're already full, but the bag is there, you're gonna put your hand in the bag.
Yeah,
You
hell
gotta
yeah.
eat it.
Yeah.
So if it's out,
Your lips are
I'm gonna watch
burning,
it.
your tongue is
Got
cut,
to.
it's sore, you're fucked up, and you're still eating it anyway.
You're still gonna eat it because at the end of the day, it's still salt and vinegar kettle chips, and at the end of the day, it's still John Wick starring Keanu.
Here's my follow-up question. Is a bad John Wick movie still better than basically every other action movie being produced right now?
I want to say yes, but there has been some pretty decent action movies out. Like Mission Impossible is still doing some really sick shit. There's actually been some decent Netflix action flicks that have come out.
Extraction was good.
Extraction, yeah, that was good. I watched another one there called Ridge. Fuck. This was like black dude that left the military and then he comes into a small town to like bail out his cousin out of jail because there's some dudes that want to kill the cousin.
That doesn't even sound familiar as a premise. How have I not?
Yeah. And then and then the cops are like corrupt in this small town. And then basically they steal all of his money and now he's on a mission to like Rebel Ridge. That's it. I watched that the other night. Decent.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, dude, there's some good action movies. Are people really doing it like John Wick? No, not quite like John Wick. But there is still some decent action movies out there. So I still think John Wick is ahead of the curve slightly, but I think that the formula has been used so much now that like I'm not really getting that same like holy shit factor.
Yeah.
The high. It's a little played, but that's okay. I'm still enjoying it.
I get the high for me watching John Wick films going forward, I think, will be similar to me watching 4. Not to downplay, like we said, because 4 has some of the best action sequences ever put to film, period. The thing for me, though, is like you touched on this tangentially there when you said Keanu Reeves is still having fun. When I watch a movie where Keanu Reeves is having fun, I tend to like the fucking movie. Even if the movie's not godlike, Keanu Reeves is such a likable fucking human being that when he's clearly enjoying himself in the role that he's doing, I like the movie. So like that's where I know I'm still gonna probably like it, at least for that. I might think, oh, they're not doing the lore any justice anymore. The story's gone fucking off the rails. The action, like you said, it's really good, but the formula has now been done enough where it takes the edge off of it. It's not quite, the same. I'm still probably going to enjoy it as long as Keanu Reeves is enjoying it. And goddamn, that man just keeps going. I mean, that dude he's not young anymore.
No, he's not. But he's still doing it. He's doing it well.
Still doing it. Next up, Borderlands. Speaking of bad movies, I haven't watched it. I don't know if I can bring myself to watch it.
I won't.
Did you watch it?
Not watch it.
No.
Hell no.
Because like part of me, like a sick, twisted, like curiosity. Like how bad is it really?
Nah. Kevin Hart in Borderlands is a no from me, dog. The moment I heard Kevin Hart in a Borderlands, I said, nah, I'm good.
Has there been a movie with worse casting across the board than Borderlands?
No. It just looks like a parody. It just looks like ass.
It's bad.
There is nothing that looks as though, you know what, that seems interesting. It just looks horrible. Like, we're talking Avatar The Last Bender bad. Like, it just looks horrible.
Dragon Ball movie bad or worse?
Yes, it looks just as bad as that. It just looks cheesy. It looks like movie sets and cosplay with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
No. It almost looks as bad as the Minecraft movie, and that looks
bro,
awful.
If you've ever seen a bunch of people doing it for the money, I mean, Jack Black, I can not for the character he's playing because this is live action. Jack Black voicing somebody in Minecraft makes perfect fucking sense to me. Live action Steve, it's a little fucking weird. Jason Momoa couldn't care less about this film if he tried.
Oh, no. He's in it for the money. That motherfucker said, Microsoft, how much are you paying me? What was that? $5 million to sit in front of a green screen for a month?
I'm in.
And dude.
I don't have to work
I'm
out. I can
so
dad
in.
bod this shit. I don't have to be Aquaman.
I can play with my hair and fucking. I mean, that shit looks so bad.
It does look atrocious.
God, looks
so Borderlands hit 17 million globally on opening weekend.
Oof.
Yikes. I don't know if they've announced how much this movie cost. It was not 17 million.
At least $100 million. It's got to be. At least, right? Borderlands movie budget. 110 to 120 million dollar budget, not including advertisements.
That's no.
So we're talking probably 180 to 200 million all in. Get fucked.
It dropped a record 72% in week 2. 72% by the second week. This may, by the time it leaves theaters, be the biggest box office loss ever accrued. What would have lost more money?
I don't know. I don't know. That's real bad.
It's basically straight to DVD because it's already up for pre-order. I saw this bitch for pre-order like last week on digital. I said, didn't this movie just fucking like come out? Like, how are we already pre-ordering this shit? Yep. Yeah, Borderlands is basically the movie version of Concord. It's true. It's true.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it. I will never watch that movie.
Man. You know what's funny? The Room will have had better ratings and more money than Borderlands. Tommy Wiseau will have made a more successful film than Borderlands with all that money.
That's so crazy, dude. That is wild. That is actually wild.
Shit, Waterworld. Fuck me, that's true. I forgot about Waterworld.
That's classic, though. That movie's actually good. That movie's actually good. I like Waterworld. But hey. It is what it is. Anyway,
wait, hold on. It lost 100 million in theaters.
Waterworld.
The budget back then was 175 million. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Whoa. I know. But it ended up having a pretty good resurgence. Like I think it did. Like it's a cult movie, right? So it's made a bunch of money sort of after the fact.
Yeah. This won't do that.
No. No, it won't.
Oh right. No, okay. Last little thing here. I forgot Dapper had this. Not last because I'll say this first and then we'll dump into it as a lighter note, I guess. We lost a legend this month, Mr. Black, the voice of Darth Vader, and much more. So much more. This band has got an incredible filmography. James Earl Jones passed away at the age of 93. That man was still working until he was 90. He packed it in. He retired from Star Wars in 2022. He and his estate agreed to AI replication of his voice for the use in Star Wars. So you will continue to hear his voice doing Darth Vader.
Hey, shout out to that man because that man secured the bag for his family forever.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
I would love to see the deal because I hope it was like ironclad, you can't fuck this up type shit.
Oh, dude, think about it, bro. He is the voice of Vader and Mufasa.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
Disney and Star Wars, which is under the same house at this point.
Dude. That family's taken care of.
Whew. Yeah, absolute legend. You know what I didn't know about this either, though? He apparently had a stutter that he had to work through. And the man did mostly voice acting for like the majority of his career.
Well, actually, not even. He's a stage performer. A massive.
Oh yeah, no, like the back. No, gigantic. I mean like the back half of his career doing mostly voice and stuff. But he was classically trained stage performer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was. Yeah, he's goated. I mean, the movie Fences. He did the Broadway for that. I mean, he did. I mean, his Broadway stuff is is
It's kind of like
massive.
Sir Ian McKellen, who's also like predominantly
Same thing.
stage kind of thing.
Yep.
Sir Patrick Stewart, same idea.
Yep.
Lots of them classically trained. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
just fantastic, fantastic people. Nobody's
life,
ever
though,
said
man.
anything. Oh my dude, 93. The dude crushed it. Are you
93
serious?
years old, lived a full life, and had just, I mean, dude, you're the voice of some of the most iconic people or characters in cinema history. He's gonna live on forever, especially now with AI.
Legendary.
I mean, dude, he's just there forever.
And nobody's
The
ever said a
legacy.
single bad thing about James Earl Jones. The man is basically just unbothered and in his lane. And now the last little piece to tack on here, because it's a bit of light humor, because it is a bit hilarious to me that they're doing it. Like, I understand how they're going to likely do it, but The Passion of the Christ is getting a sequel.
Okay. What is this? The return of Christ? Is he gonna rise up?
I would say, I don't know how many of you remember The Passion of the Christ, which was Mel Gibson did that, and I can't remember the guy's name, but the actor that played Jesus, despite the fact that this movie was made a long time ago, is returning to play Jesus.
Yep.
Shit, that's a long time. Jesus.
That motherfucker said, "Crucify me again for money, please." Let's go for the sequel.
So there's like a couple ways they could do this, Mr. Black. So the original, they did cover the resurrection, but it was like a 10-minute little fucking side piece.
Mm-hmm.
My best guess is there's two ways that they could go about doing this. I don't know. I haven't read it far enough into it. But my best guess is that if they go with like the Catholic, canon, Jesus, goes to hell and basically puts in some work before the resurrection. If that doesn't just sound like Constantine with Keanu Reeves to you, I wouldn't blame you if you said it did. And in all honesty, if they cast Keanu Reeves as Jesus and send him to hell to fight before the resurrection, I'd watch the shit out of that. But that's not what we're getting. there's that. The other thing they can do is the time after the resurrection, leading up to the ascension, where he goes back to heaven. That's like the two.
I think that's probably what it is. I think that he won't be the star. I think what's going to happen is it'll follow other characters, and it will be sort of the aftermath of, Jesus being crucified and sort of what, his name kind of being now,
last time on Jesus Christ Z.
Exactly. and then he will return for when he rises, you know what I mean? He gets resurrected.
Yeah, it's the resurrection and then the ascension, yeah.
Correct, the ascension. So I think that's what's going to happen. Listen, you know what? At the end of the day, these types of movies, they bring people together, and it divides people. We're talking religion here.
It's a religion thing, yeah.
But I mean, I think for the most part, as long as they do things respectfully, which they did in the first one, from what I can recall.
Yep.
I'm not against this thing. I think we need to see more and more. I'm not a huge religious guy, but whether it's Christianity or any other type of religion, I think if you do it tastefully and you spread the word and educate people, I think I'm here for it. Will I go to the theaters and watch Passion of the Christ 2? No. I'm not going to do that, but I might check it out.
Yeah,
I might check it out. I find religion and all that stuff kind of fascinating anyway, just like from you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I'm kind of here for it. Sure.
I'm just surprised that they're even doing it after all this time. I would have thought like the window for that time was fucking ages ago, but here we are. Just very interesting that they're going ahead and doing that, but we'll see how it all comes together. I remember watching The Passion of the Christ when it first came out, and how old would I have been? Like 12, 11?
I remember seeing it in theaters. My dad made me go.
Oh man, I
remember exactly where I was sitting.
2004, I was older than that.
Packed. I was probably 15. I would say I was probably 14, 15 years old when I saw it in theaters.
Well, I was 15, which makes you 16.
Yeah, I was a
It was
teenager.
February. It was February 2004. So you were 16. I was 15.
All right, there you go.
And I thought it was earlier than 2004. That's kind of fucking crazy to me. I do. Yeah. So I remember watching it. I watched it in the theaters as well. And I remember that even for my desensitized 16-year-old or 15-year-old ass that had been on the internet and we've seen like the deepest, darkest pre-internet 2.0 fuckery, even for me, 2 hours in that movie, it was a tough watch. It was literally just they didn't pull punches on that crucifixion.
No,
it was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough to watch.
And it was one of those movies too where, because of the subject matter, there was like a visceral reaction of the crowd, like in a very different, like there was pain in that audience, like unlike.
And this was before like a lot of the gore porn horror movies too. So this level of like, and for the period of time he was on screen getting his shit kicked was not something you saw very frequently. So it was like a lot of people were getting exposed to that for like the first time.
Yeah, and it's Jesus on top of that. Jesus, so you know, people that are there watching it, right? Like, you know, it was something. It was
a ride. It was a ride. Well done movie though. And then Mel Gibson not long after had to do some crazy shit, and now he's trying to resurrect his own career, ironically. That's it for that. I think unless you've got any other movie news lined up that you've been seeing anything or whatnot. No, okay.
No.
Then it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV is the place to go if you want to financially support the podcast, and either in conjunction with or on its own after playing Ant Legion and any other sponsors that we have coming your way. And we got more. But each and every week, chiefly, $5 or more a month gets you a couple of perks, including asking us questions on a post I put up for the podcast called Tech Support. You put your questions there in the comment section, we give you answers in the time that we have. The Jubinator said, congrats on the marriage, Adam. Thank you, sir. Name something women do that you always find interesting or strange.
That women do?
That's interesting or strange.
I can't really think of anything. And it's not like I've been around a ton of women. Like I've lived with one woman my whole adult life. Yeah. So it's not like I have this wide range of stuff to like go at. I'm trying to think what some of the weird shit my wife does, but I mean that could be like just her and not just women in general. And I can't really think of too much. And I'm not just saying that either, because if I thought something was weird, I'd tell you.
I'll say I don't know if it's like a weird I guess there's like two things that I could think of that are out of the like that not weird, but just like over time, I've noticed more of perhaps. The old saying where like women were the good communicators and men didn't know how to express their emotions or whatever, or express themselves in conversation. Most of the women I've known in my life are actually some of the worst communicators I've ever seen. They have no idea how to express their emotions or talk about things because all they do is put emotions on top of it. It's the opposite problem. Like men and women are bad at communication for different reasons. Men, on average, hyperlogical line of reasoning, right? Women lean like emotion-based response, or emotion-based explanation. They talk, they explain via feelings, men explain via logic.
Correct.
Both of those are bad at communicating things if you can't at least partially understand the other side. But the concept of like, women saying, why can't you just understand me? And like, they're just doing a horrible job, like is one of them for sure. Is like both men and women are horrible fucking communicators on average. Oh, related to that though, or one that drives me nuts, that we've seen more and more of now, that a lot of my the friends that I've got that are younger who are still in the dating game are experiencing a lot more of this, is women playing the game where they're interested in the guy asks them for a coffee or whatever else, and they'll say no. And then when the guy, because current era, don't want to press the issue because they don't want to come across as creepy or pressing themselves on them or whatever else, just say okay and then leave. They get upset about it, like, I was actually interested, I just wanted him to work for it. That one's fucking brutal. That one drives me up the fucking wall to hear, and I'm not even in the dating game anymore, but if that was happening to me, dude, I'd be fucking livid.
I mean, I don't really have, I don't really know. I mean, I'm just grateful. I'm just not
in the game.
I don't have to worry. I'm not in the game, bro. I'm not in the game. I think.
Here's one though. Married life though. Reading their minds. That's most women.
Yeah.
Big on the mind reading part.
Yeah. I mean, Kayla and I, we're such we know each other so well at this point that I can almost read her mind. I think more so, and she can kind of read mine. I think what it is there's like either like cues and certain demeanors or certain vibes.
You spend enough time with them, and you can figure it out.
I can tell when something's off, or when when I need to kind of back off a little bit and be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't press so hard on this specific pressure point, and vice versa. But yeah, no, I mean, dude, we've just been together. I mean, it'll be 10 years marriage next month.
Which makes it what, 14,
and then we were together
14
for
years?
We were engaged for 4, and then we were together for almost 2 before we got engaged. So I'm going on 16 years.
16,
with her. So I mean, at the end of the day, and I mean, one vagina, that's it. It's 16 years. That's the show. I don't have any other experiences outside of before we got together, right? So I can't really just pinpoint and say like all women do this, all women do that. I'll say this, and I don't want this to come off and sound sexist or anything, because there's things that guys do that are just fucking dumb.
Oh, fucking dumb as shit.
And probably more so than women, to be frank. But I think what I've been noticing a lot is there's a lot of women that are overly feminist or overly about women basically being independent. Like, I don't need a man. And listen, at the end of the day, girl boss. And listen, I'm all for powerful women. I got a few powerful women in my life. I root them on. I think that it's a phenomenal thing. I think they should have all equal opportunities as men. I think they should be proud to be able to take care of themselves, so on and so forth. But I think ultimately what I've been noticing a lot is this like this feminist movement is so some of it is so far.
Well, the current feminist movement isn't even feminist anymore.
No,
it's just using that name.
Yeah, well, exactly, and I think it was born in a good place, and then went to this crazy extremist side, to the point where I think they're almost either brainwashed, or they're trying to convince themselves that they don't need somebody, and then ultimately they waste so much time being strong and independent that some of them just end up lonely, and they miss those years in which, if they didn't feel like they need to shoulder everything, and just because a man wants to do good for you doesn't necessarily telling you that he's calling you weak, or that you can't take care of yourself. I've just seen so much of it, and I'm not just talking about these like random YouTube short bullshit. But like I've seen it, where like this attitude of like, I don't need a man. I don't really hear a whole lot of men say, I don't need a woman. We desire. I mean, there are some men that are like that, of course, but we desire that that feminine
Companionship.
aura around us and in companionship, and to have that, I couldn't be with a woman that wanted to do my role on that level. I'll share the role with you to a degree. I'll support you in all of your personal endeavors. I'll even take the back seat to make sure that you're doing the things that you want to do. But my goodness, like you don't need to take the brunt of everything all the time.
There's a difference between being strong and being able to be independent.
Yes.
And then just choosing to stay independent for like the sake of being able to say that you're independent. Some of them, I believe, are independent to a point where it's become part of their personality and their like character, and they feel like if they actually if they give up any of that to be with a man, it takes away from that. And
exactly.
so they avoid
correct
certain relationships because of that, which is fine if you want to do that. But like you said, sometimes it gets to a point where, several years go by and the dating pool is dried up and they're going, shit, why am I still struggling out here in this world?
Exactly.
Get a man?
And I think part of the reason why I'm kind of getting that off my chest a little bit is I see that a little bit in my mom, and my mom has been single for many, many years, and she's dated, the odd guy. I think I've met one man in my life that she's, had any type of relationship with, and that lasted, I don't even know, maybe 6 months. It was nothing crazy. But, she's very much like her mother, my grandmother. Once my grandfather passed away, I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm sure she's probably dated and to some degree, but like she's just been a single. I take care of myself. I don't need somebody telling me what to do. I don't need this. I don't need that. You kind of get stuck in your ways, and I want my mom to be able to kind of surrender a little bit and embrace a good man that wants to be in her life. And she just has I don't know what it is. Like there's this block. And it's hard. It's, I don't know, but it's not my life. At the end of the day,
exactly.
All I can do is support in any way that I can. But I do see that, and it's not just with my mom, but I see it in some other women too. And it gets to the point where their years are passing them by, and it's sad to see. But at the same time, it's their life. You have to respect that, and
those choices.
They got to make their own choices. Yeah. So.
Joshua Kim, which of these horror scenarios would you rather be in? This is a very random question. First scenario, hunted by Art the Clown in an abandoned amusement park. 2, put in a Saw movie trap related to a flaw or past misdeed. 3, hunted by flying zombies in an Australian desert. Jesus.
What was the first one?
Hunted by Art the Clown in an abandoned. I'm taking that all day.
I'm going with that one.
Give me the clown. I ain't got to fear clowns.
That clown up.
Yeah,
bro, I will fuck that clown up, bro. Come in this room, I dare you. We gonna see who's walking out. Hell no. Ain't nobody got time for no Saw. Yo, want to play a game? No, I ain't nobody got time for that.
Nah. Yeah. I don't even. And the last one, fuck the flying zombies. I just don't want to be in the Australian desert. That by itself gonna do me in.
And flying zombies? That seems horrible too.
That's bad. But honestly, it's the Australian desert. Odds are there's worse things in the Australian desert than flying zombies. So they're probably like on the hierarchy of things to worry about. Flying zombies, coincidentally, not even number 1. It's like a solid like maybe 2 or 3, maybe even a 4 spot.
Put me in the house with the clown. Put me in the house with the clown. I'm going at it.
I'm there.
And I'm not even running from it. I'm not even playing that game.
I'm finding the clown.
Yeah, I'm hunting the clown.
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. I'm going after your ass. Get ready. I'm finding some shit. I'm painting my nose red. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the clown now.
Yeah, I got 1,000 bottles of baby oil sitting in my fucking basement. Clown, you coming downstairs?
Dude, yes. Sit in the room. Get all your baby oil. Put them stacked in the room. Sit naked in a chair with just a spotlight over you and the baby oil and wait for him to walk in the door.
He walks in, just pop a bottle. Welcome to my fun house.
Press a play button on like a record. It's like
yeah, come on. I'm gonna penetrate, and it's gonna slide right in. Yeah.
What you got?
Consensually, of course. Clown.
Consensually, of course. Yes. David D asks, what's something that you've lost that annoys you the most when you think about it? He said, I lost my wallet at the start of 2023, and recently I can't find a pair of musicians' earplugs that are custom fit to my ears. Shit, those are two very expensive losses. My apologies. My condolences, I should say.
I'm gonna go with the most annoying thing that I lost, my wedding ring. I went through fucking hell and back, bro. Shit, it fell down a vent in my bedroom and went down, and I bought cameras, like snake cameras, to try and get down there. I called fucking septic tank dudes that do inspections on septic tanks to see if they could get a camera down there. I tried vacuums. I tried putting my arm down in that bitch. I did everything. And not only that, I then tore the whole house upside down.
Yep.
I had, dude, it was brutal. So I'm going to go with the wedding ring. And
that is unfortunate.
I end up never finding it, so I had to go and buy the replica. So.
I would say, man. I would say I don't take a lot of pictures ever. Like my whole life, I've never been much of a picture taker. So when I'm taking pictures, typically I want to hang on to those pictures because I'm not just like spamming pictures all the time. Back in junior high on one of the trips, or like either the grade 8 band trip or the grade 9 trip, I can't remember which one now. We had we brought like a bunch of instant cameras with us because we weren't using digital at the time. We weren't swimming in money. We were still using fucking the instant, like little Kodak fucking instant ones. And when I came back and I got them developed or whatever, and I went and got the pictures, and it was 2 copies of just one camera, and the other one never came back. And they never kept the camera. I called them up, never kept the camera, no nothing. So I only have half of these pictures from this shit that I took during that trip, and that's always fucking pissed me off. Because to this day, when I go find those pictures, they're always with the other copies. So I'm always reminded that I just have like 7,000 fucking copies of the same like one camera that we had on this fucking trip. I'm salty about it. So that's definitely one. And then when I was really young, I lost my Pokemon Yellow. I'm still not convinced your cousin didn't steal that shit when he was over that night. I'm pretty sure he might have.
I wasn't. I don't think it. Well, for one, Jason wasn't my cousin, but if it was Jason, I guess he theoretically was a cousin, but he's distant. He's not like a
not close
cousin.
family.
He was,
no.
Yeah. He was like a second or third.
I
cousin,
always expect. Even when I was even then, I expected. I suspected that shit. I was like, there ain't no way this thing ain't hanging around the house. And the last time was when we were all sitting down in my basement with the games out, and all of a sudden my Pokemon Yellow up and fucking walked out that room and never fucking came back.
I don't know. It was never.
We were like fucking 11 years old.
We were
like
young.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
But that was always a weird one. It was always unfortunate. And then somebody stole my. These aren't things I've lost, because I honestly, thankfully, haven't lost very much. But somebody stole my bike. Remember,
That's
people
happened to me too,
there was like on this street growing up,
just
a bunch of bikes
just
disappeared.
Grab the bike. Just gone.
Because
put
for
it in
a
the front
long
yard.
time,
We
just tossed it in the backyard, the front yard, whatever the fuck, and nobody stole anything. And then one day,
gone.
And we still don't know who did it. It was nobody that we knew, not even like the shitty people that we knew. Yeah. It was just some rando fucking driving around yanking bikes. It was the craziest shit. It only ever happened once. No, that shit never happened again. It's fucking weird.
Jeff's still covering 25 years later. Motherfucker,
Dude, when's the last time you've seen him?
No, dude, probably 20 years.
I was gonna say,
no joke.
I was gonna say,
Damn
it's
near.
probably not long, not much after that.
Probably because he ended up moving to Calgary, I think, and then I think he's back here, but I don't
really?
know.
Oh.
I think, but I don't know.
There's a bunch of people that have moved back here in the last few years that I'd never knew they moved back. And then again, I think we talked about this on did we talk about this on the last StarCraft cast? Anyway, we talked about, or maybe I'm just conflating it with somebody else. But no, I talked to this is my cousin Ben. I talked to him about this. But like every friend group has like that one friend who like from high school or whatever else, but for whatever reason, they somehow managed to be the one person that still knows what every fucking person from high school is still doing, where they are, how much they weigh, do they have a beard, how many children, how many times have they been married, what's their diet like. Like there's this one person that knows all of this shit and they're still somehow friends with all of these people. Well, that's Crimp. In my group, Crimp knows everyone. And so once in a while when we get to a chance to catch up and he's like, bro, you'll never guess who I fucking ran into. And it'll be somebody whose name I haven't heard in 20 fucking years. Yeah. And he just gives me like their entire autobiography or whatever, their entire biography. I'm like, geez, how do you even know any of this shit?
Yeah. It's always been weird for me too, because I don't know about anything, but it seems as though everybody knows about me. So like if I bump into somebody like at the gym, I haven't seen them in 15 years. They're like, yo, Jeff, this, you heard you. I'm like, my God, like
how?
How? You know what I mean? But
you know what the craziest one of that is? I probably mentioned on the podcast before, but the one in terms of people recognizing me, one of the people that used to work at the Subway in Spryfield when he was still in high school, working the counter. I hadn't seen him in over like a decade.
What happened to your camera? Your camera just kind of...
Did my camera freeze?
Yeah, that's weird.
Are we back? Are we okay? Oh no! The Logitech is fucked.
Yeah,
oh,
that's all right. We're coming to the end of the podcast anyway.
You can just enjoy whatever fucking face that is that it paused on. I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. He's working the Costco counter now, and I went through the Costco line. And I hadn't even seen him because he wasn't the cashier. He was the person that was helping the cashier bag on the other end. And so I hadn't even looked up to see who was there yet because I was putting my groceries down. And as I'm putting like the last of the groceries on the belt, I hear, "You still going to Subway?" And at first I didn't think it was somebody talking to me because I was like out of nowhere, no fucking like reference. No, nothing.
Wow.
You still go to Subway? And I didn't look up. And then he said it again. I look up. And I didn't even recognize him. It took me a second. Because I hadn't seen him in a decade. And this man was in high school the last time I saw him. Now he's a grown-ass man. And when I last saw him, I had hair. I had no beard. Like, this was I don't think I look like that much like I did. And he only ever saw me when I went to Subway. And so when he said that, I looked up at him. And I was like, word? Hey, you up? I was like, hey, you up? I was like, you're working for Mr. Kirkland now. Let's go. Getting the Mr. Kirkland benefits.
Yes. Union
benefits. But yeah, so that was like a weird thing for me was that one. But like in general, yeah, it's true. Like people always seem to know about me. And then I'm like, I don't even know if I remember you that well.
Yeah.
How do you know? It's Ryan. Ryan's telling everyone. That's the secret. Everyone knows Ryan, and Ryan is telling absolutely. Tell me you didn't love watching or seeing Ryan at that fucking wedding, dude. I love that guy so much.
Bro, he's a character, man. He's a character. I'm not even sure that guy. I mean, I'm not even sure I've ever seen him angry or in a bad mood. He's just goofy all the time.
Such a good dude. Such a good dude. Dr. Samurai said the Stormgate videos are amazing. Hearing about Kai and the money, have you thought about a weekly allowance?
No.
No. You're just doing your work around the house, son. You don't get paid for that.
Yeah, no. I mean, he gets, he's pretty privileged. I mean, he's, I mean,
you don't need an allowance.
You don't need an allowance. I pretty much tell him, and you know what? I like to believe we're doing a good job with him. He's very well spoken. He's he is never the kid to throw a tantrum in public. He's very respectful to everybody. It's a yes, please, no, thank you. He's just super well behaved, and he also understands that. And it took a little while, but I think he's also understanding that, he's very fortunate to be able to do some of the things that he gets to do on a regular basis. And I think for a little, I try and instill to him that, not every family can do the things that he wants to do, when he wants to do them. And we just make sure that he's being well behaved. He has good manners. If he disrespects his stops for a while, and I think,
bruh, if you could hear me, Mr. Black, oh my lord. Okay, hold on.
For sure. But yeah.
Oh my god, dude, Discord is so
it's shit in the bed. But anyway, let's end it here. No, my son doesn't get an allowance. But he still has to earn for the things that he gets, or at least he has to do. He's still got to clean his bedroom. He's still got to clean his playroom. He's still got to do X, Y, and Z. And he does it. So, I can't complain.
All right, so real quick ones to end this out, because these are kind of funny. Seth, now that M has made an honest man out of Adam, can we pour one out for the short-lived Tinder files?
Pour one out.
I can't remember. I count on one hand how many times I've seen Jeff so excited about something in my life, and he was so jacked for the Tinder files, and they died almost immediately in the just crushing depression that followed.
I was living vicariously, man. I was living vicariously, If I was a single man and Tinder existed, man, my dick would be off. I wouldn't have a penis. Okay. So I had to live vicariously through you. I've never even had Tinder on my phone. I don't even know what the app looks like. I got it through you, Adam.
So down bad. It was awful. It was very short-lived, but it was sweet. It was short and sweet. Last one I want to do here, just because it's got 3 likes on it, and so we'll just do it real quick. Ace High, there are lots of units of measurement that are named after other people, or named after people. Watts, newtons, volts, amperes, etc. If more houses and Johnstons were units, what would they be units of?
Oh my god. Say that last part again.
If more houses and Johnstons were units, like, watts, newtons, volts, amperes, what would they be units of? Johnstons would be units of disappointment that the Tinder files ended so quickly. It was exactly 5 Johnstons. The ending of Tinder files was exactly 5 Johnstons.
I like it. I was gonna say John Stones, as in some stones. Because a lot of the times people, that's the thing. They either pronounce it Johnson without the T, because I have the T, or they say John Stone, but there's no E at the end of my name, right? Because so I'm gonna say John Stones, and then for Morehouse,
I mean Jesus.
I mean,
it's
dude, I still think it's a travesty that you're not a real estate agent, because my god, it just the name just fucking,
well, if it wasn't for the fact that it cost like 12 grand to fucking get started in this goddamn province, and there's like 3 houses to sell right now, probably, unfortunately, it's 12 grand.
About to boom again. Shit's about to boom again.
And there's like 3 fucking houses. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't even know.
It's not really a name conducive to anything like that. So, let's, I'll leave it. Well, let us know in the chat below for the 20 people that comment on this podcast and that one guy that uses the same comment for every single video. Maybe change it up this week.
Dude, when are we going to answer his question? Maybe next week.
Wait, which question is that?
Motherfucker has been... that dude in the comment section that always talks about chores. It's like he puts the same thing.
Oh, okay. So there's two. Yeah. So that's
single.
He's a long-term community member too. So that's like I think
Dude,
I think
next week we're answering that
algorithm.
fucking question. We're answering that question next week, Adam.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We gotta go.
On that, we're out of here. We gotta record StarCraft. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for stopping by. Patreon.com/LagTV if you want to financially support this madness. And until we see you, stay safe, have a good one. And peace!
Hey, yes.